Bring it in close and let me tell you a tale. A tale that resembles more of a horror story than anything. The dreaded story of how I went from a glide shot putter to a rotational one. No, but seriously, I had a really messy transition when I inevitably made the choice to switch from gliding to rotating. And I thought I would share that story because maybe, just maybe, it can help one of you avoid the mistakes that I made. So let's start at the beginning. I was in high school. I was throwing as a glide shot putter and a pretty crappy discus thrower.
Fillmore, you suck!
At the end of my junior year, I was sitting at a 49-foot shot and a 117 discus. That's not bad, but I was really looking to bring my abilities up to the next level. And when I was in high school, I enjoyed going to different throwing camps that were at colleges, run by different clubs, things like that. And there was one maybe an hour or so from my house. So naturally, I decided to attend. They divided their campers up by their primary event. So as you could assume, I went with the shot putters. I was so excited to work with some of these coaches that came in to help. But then the issue arose. They split the shot putters up into two groups, gliders and rotators. I went with the gliders, along with 40 other throwers. Meanwhile, the rotational group had 2 kids. Can you see where I'm going with this? So I got annoyed and decided that day on the spot that I was going to learn rotational shot put. That's right. I decided to completely change my technique that I was fairly successful with because I don't like crowds.
People here. There's too many people on this earth.
And let me tell you, I was horrible at it, but I really enjoyed it. The coach I work with was great, and I've always kind of been a slow learner at things, so I didn't really think anything of it. I also figured it would help me get better at throwing discus, which I really wanted to get better at. So I got the basics kinda down, and I knew I was gonna have to work at it a lot more. So I trained it during the summer and the fall, and then broke it out during my senior season. And it actually went fairly well. I only competed at a couple of indoor meets my junior year, but by the end of that season, I actually got close to my outdoor PR from the year before. And then I went outside, and everything came crashing down. I remember one meet specifically that the furthest I threw was like 38 feet. Which was probably 7 feet under where I could throw with a stand throw. So my coach and I had a tough convo, which resulted in me going back to gliding for the rest of the season. And that proved to be the right decision as I ended the year at almost 52 feet and I qualified for states. But I wasn't ready to give up on it. So I went to college and I assumed my throws coach there was going to want to work with me on rotation because the ceiling with the technique is a lot higher than with gliding. One day he saw me rotate in practice, and this man looked me dead in the eye and said to 18-year-old me, "I never want to see you do that ever again."
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Which hurt, but deep down I knew he was right. At the time, I wasn't progressing how I should have been, and I actually ended up having a pretty successful freshman year as a glider. But after my freshman year, I decided to transfer to a different school where the throws coach had a completely different attitude about me rotating. She told me she really wanted to work with me on the technique because she saw potential. And don't get me wrong, I was still pretty terrible at it for a while. But in the off season, I connected with other throwers who knew way more than me, and they became my training partners. And while my form was far from perfect, I made a lot of progress, and I ended up rotating to finish out my college career. Which leads me to today. Funny enough, I would say that most of what I learned about the throws, I actually learned after my college throwing career. So after studying the sport intensively for a long time, I'm able to identify a lot of the key mistakes that I made. The first being, I just simply rushed the process. I knew I was a slow learner, and I still thought I could figure out the technique in the span of a few months, even though people spend years getting good at it.
It's been 84 years.
I also screwed up in practice because I was never intentional about what I was working on. I just showed up and threw. And when you do that, all you do is reinforce bad habits. And easily the biggest mistake that I made, if you've watched any of my stuff, you know what I'm about to say. I had no idea what it was supposed to look like. I would watch like 1 or 2 videos of someone who was better than me, and immediately I thought I knew what I was doing. When in reality, I had no idea the intricacies that went into the actual technique.
You wouldn't understand.
I also never learned a system for rotating. I just tried to learn the technique in its entirety as one big motion, and let me tell you, that made it a lot harder. I should have tried to break it down and learn it piece by piece, which is how I teach my athletes today. Also, pro tip, don't try to make a huge change right before your senior year. Ride the wave of the rest of high school with whatever technique you're used to, and wait until you get to college for a fresh 4 years, or however many we're handing out now. So, there's my story of learning to spin, failing, and then kind of getting it. I want to hear what you think. What mistakes have you made? Do you glide or rotate? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in more throws related content, make sure you subscribe. And while you're at it, why don't you throw your favorite throws coach a follow on TikTok and Instagram. I'm also accepting new coaching clients, so if you're interested in private coaching lessons, make sure to email me directly at tnthrowscoaching@gmail.com or fill out the Google form in my bio. And until next time, throw far.